Never forget, by the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not our ally. Democrats are making a dangerous enemy with Marjorie Taylor Greene right now.
The takeout after Congressman Thomas Massie's defeat in Kentucky on Tuesday. That was in a Republican primary. Another Republican targeted by President Trump defended him. Former Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. I spoke with her about that and a whole lot more. Please listen. Upon Thomas Massie's defeat Tuesday night.
Yeah, Thomas Massie lost because he doesn't fucking suck Trump off nonstop.
Marjorie, you said that he was a giant among weak, pathetic men. Who are the weak, pathetic men you referred to?
Many of the men that I served with in Congress and the United States House of Representatives, primarily the men that make these promises on the campaign trail and then never deliver them. And it's actually Tom.
Again, remember, she never delivered on a single one of her promises. All Republicans are scum who only care about themselves. True! Wait, hold on. I actually got to double check that. Yeah, I agree. I double checked. I double checked the Google. Yeah, I looked up "Are Republicans evil?" and it said yes. Though Thomas Massie's pushed really hard on the Epstein files with Ro Khanna.
Thomas Massie, who was one of the few members of Congress that did follow through with his promises to his constituents.
And that got him, in some cases, the direct ire of the President of the United States. Do you include him in that category of weak, pathetic men?
Well, actually, it shouldn't. See, that's the thing, is it shouldn't have gotten him in the ire of President Trump, because actually Thomas Massie's policies and his bills and his voting record was very America first, is very America first. He'll still be there for 7 more months. And that is what has so many people upset. In 2024, the American people delivered a mandate, and the mandate was put America first, no more foreign wars. We wanted accountability, demanded accountability from the elites, and primarily the Epstein class. And it was Thomas Massie that was following through on that exact mandate. So there never should have been this disagreement.
You also write in your social media post, releasing the Epstein files was our demise, meaning you and Thomas Massie. What do you mean by that?
Yes, it was the reason that President Trump turned on both of us, because Thomas Massie, myself, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, we were the only Republicans that signed the discharge petition.
Remember, she's allies with Nancy Mace, the person who said tranny, tranny, tranny on live television.
We're seeing that resolution to the House floor for a vote to release the Epstein files. That's when President Trump turned on me. The president already was angry at Thomas Massie over a few things, but that's what really turned his anger towards Thomas Massie. For Thomas Massie and I both, we took different paths, but the results was still the same. Neither one of us will be members of the House of Representatives.
You write that America is ruled by a so-called Epstein class. Is President Trump in that Epstein class of rulers, and what does that class do?
I would say absolutely. I think many Americans agree with this statement. It's something I hear frequently from people. It's something you see all over social media. And the Epstein class is a class of elites that are never held accountable.
When you perform one normal deed in the sea of evil, it doesn't cleanse the waters to only show you're able to be a human and choose not to. True.
They continue to dominate no matter which political party is in charge. And this is what the American people are really tired of. You know, it was under Democrats and Republicans both that inflation was very high, gas was unaffordable. Under different administrations for decades of both parties, there was foreign wars that continued on and on. But this is what the American people are tired of, and they very much want to be able to have a...
She is... Democrats... putting her on a pedestal is very dangerous. I don't think I can explain how dangerous that is. They are going to make her seem so much better and more rational than she actually is. She is psychotic. She is psychotic. And she will bring this country to ruin if she had the chance to.
say in the policies and the decisions that are made in Washington, but they don't. And the proof is there on the Tuesday election results. The proof was there that a congressional seat could be bought by several billionaires representing a foreign lobby and not the people of Kentucky.
Which foreign?
How much money did MTJ take from AIPAC? Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene has not accepted any campaign contributions from AIPAC. Huh. Interesting. That was surprising. That was surprising to me. That actually shocked me. But she does take hundreds of thousands of dollars from corporate billionaires.
Foreign lobby.
That would be AIPAC, Israel-focused donors.
She doesn't like Israel because she's anti-Semitic.
And that is something that you believe represents a long-term threat to the future of the Republican Party?
I think anytime you have donors, billionaires that are donating and focused on congressional seats or any type of political seat, and their interest is for a foreign country, that can be any foreign country.
Remember, she took money from making sensible shift in elections, anti-woke PACs.
That can be any foreign country in the world. I think that is a direct threat to the American people. I do.
I agree.
In his concession speech, Thomas Massie noted that he has 50,000 donors and that his effort to seek and secure re-election through that primary was a campaign that turned into a movement. On social media, you wrote that movement will be led by younger generations who hate the old guard with an unquenchable passion. What role will you play?
And Democrats are building MTJ up to take over that. It's kind of terrifying, man, because this is really dangerous for us.
Play in that new movement, and do you think Thomas Massie has a role in something approximating a post-Trump Republican Party?
This movement that I was speaking of and that Thomas Massie talked about, that movement actually exists, and that's what MAGA was supposed to be. So this movement is actually continuing. It's taking different shape and what many would call America First. But the movement is actually growing and forming. You're seeing people coming from both sides of the political aisle, people from the left and the right that are very, very disgusted with their own political party because they feel like it, whether it's left, right, Democrat, Republican, these parties really are one and the same. And the results are generally one and the same, except for, a few social issues on the outliers. And this movement going forward, I believe, is the most important movement that can take place in America because it is led by the younger generations. It's for their future, not for the older generations and that's my parents' generation. I dearly love them, but it's really the younger people and they're voting for the issues that affect them and matter most in their lives. And I stand with them. I do.
What role will you play in it?
Well, I don't know if we have roles that I can pick and choose from, but I will definitely be a loud voice and align myself with them and see where it develops going forward.
All right, let's do more immediate statewide politics. How do you assess Republican chances in the governor's race and the Senate race this fall?
Well, I mean, which governor's races are you specifically talking about?
In Georgia.
In Georgia, well, we are a close state. However, I feel like in this particular governor's race, I think the Republican nominee should pull ahead based on the Democrat.
Nope, probably. I wouldn't be super shocked if the Democrat won in Georgia.
Nominee being Keisha Lance Bottoms. If you're in Georgia, you can remember when she was mayor of Atlanta, and that was when the BLM riots happened. And
BLM protests. Yeah, exactly. BLM riots. And CBS is not going to call her out on saying that because they want to build an ally out of her.
There's many police officers across the state, and many people were very unhappy with her leadership as mayor. That will give the Republican primary winner a definite edge over her as the Democrat nominee.
How about the United States Senate race? Jon Ossoff appears to have lots of money, and there's going to be a Republican runoff. How about the prospects there?
Well, for quite some time, I have yet to see a poll where any Republican candidate edges out John Ossoff. He's an incumbent. Incumbents have tremendous power in reelections. So I'm not sure how the chances are there. We'll see how the Republican runoff comes through. We'll see which one comes ahead, and then we'll see how it takes shapes going forward.
Last question before I let you go. What is your opinion, Marjorie Taylor Greene, on this fund created by the Justice Department to pay victims?
This actually pisses me off so much. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
So-called of Biden-era lawfare or weaponization?
Forgive me for not knowing the deep details on that one. What I fear may
She should absolutely know the deep details on this. Everybody does. She's lying.
happen. And I stood up for a lot of the people, the
She loves Gen Sixers.
Sixers. Mainly the ones that walk through open doors, walk through the Capitol, and then turn around and walked out. And then the Department of Justice came down on them
Because it was trespassing on federal property.
with the most heavy hand. But I think what I fear for them is this is another shiny object that's like red meat being thrown at the base to get people fired up and think something's actually being done when nothing is actually being done. And so it was BLM and Antifa rioters. Over 95% of them had their
CBS is platforming this woman. Democrats are platforming this woman.
charges dropped, but over 95% of J6ers went to prison and were treated very unfairly. Definitely had harsher consequences than any of the left rioters during 2020. So, I don't like.
Yeah, this is the person Democrats want to make an ally of, and it's fucking disgusting.
Political lawfare. I think it's very unfair, but we'll see what shapes up out of this fund.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome back.
Democrats are making a very dangerous enemy, and they know they are. Protesters wanted to stop black people from being murdered in the streets. True. There's a distinctable difference. An MTJ, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is psychotic but not stupid. She knows what she's doing here, and Democrats and corporate lobbyists and they are letting her. They are just letting her. They're not casting her to the side. They should. The response to MTJ is you're evil and you voted in and helped Trump and you're responsible for the Epstein files not being completely disclosed. Even if you want to vote for it, you are responsible for Trump being such an evil person. That's how they should respond to this, and they're not going to, because they do not care. MTJ would completely continue with the Democrats would want MTJ right now as president. Even with all her transphobia, homophobia, racism, they would want Marjorie Taylor Greene as president right now because it would mean a continuation of the status quo. Billionaires love MTJ. They love her. You gotta hate her, man. On every level, you gotta hate her. And this is why people like Mamdani, they're choosing Marjorie Taylor Greene over Mamdani. If you let that ruminate in your head and let that sink in. It's waiting outside. If you think about that, it really does. It makes you hate the Democrats. It makes you hate them so fucking much. And that interviewer 100% is like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with this. Fucking piece of garbage. This is truly the most psychotic shit choice I've ever heard. True?